Question number 3. As an interlocutor, what questions or concerns would you like to bring to your theological construction in general and to your articulation of the major theological themes in particular? So, general questions. I actually find myself full of questions often, and some of the general questions I have is, how do we make sense of the world? That's a very broad question, I understand, but how do we make sense of the world in a world where some would claim absolutes, where some would claim a monopoly over religion, over ideas, over theological understandings, and not just a monopoly, but their way is the only way. How do we make sense in a world that is so full of flux, in a world where flexibility and things are more fluid, as far as time even is more fluid, and time is able to be expanded upon, and in a world where our decisions, and I'm not talking specifically about free will, but that humanity's decisions impacts the next decisions. I'm thinking particular about racism, and where our decisions as older people, when it comes to our young people and our youth, our decisions to not teach them certain things, how that impacts the way in which we understand the world. And really particularly, one of the main questions that I have and that I would like to explore is when we do not have these important conversations, when we do not bring these up when it comes to matters of justice. Theologically, what is our responsibility? I spoke earlier about our responsibility and about that I believe that religion, that Judaism is about a community. It's not about just my relationship, but it's about a community relationship and a people. And if it is about a people and it's about a community, then what is my responsibility to the whole community to have these conversations? And what is the responsibility to have some really hard, intense conversations? What does it look like for folks who are in an oppressed group to, once they gain a level of freedom, and I say level very intentionally, because levels, because everyone is not completely free, not even those who are within who experience some of the highest levels of privilege. There is some form of lack of privilege that is always there, but when folks experience a level of privilege, what does it look like, and what responsibility do we then have to not go and perpetuate those same cycles that we have experienced upon ourselves? How do we, in turn, go back and not enslave other peoples and not claim dominion over other peoples, or to not claim even a monopoly over people within our same groups, and to not say this brand of my theological understanding is the only absolute brand of that theological understanding. So my real question is simple and complex. How do we make sense of a world that is such that is full of so much flux and so much fluidity, when there are those who will claim absolutes and who will claim monopolies and dominions over this world?